Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
And here we are. We've come to it at last. Our mini break, our holiday break. And yeah. Before we get into today's episodes, Sam, what's up? What's new?
Not much, getting ready for Christmas. We're putting we put Christmas lights outside our apartment this year. We didn't do it last year.
Nice.
But yeah, we put some Christmas lights out. And my wife is just making little hats for different we have different, like stuff like hanging all around. We've got like a plastic bat skeleton I bought at Target one Halloween, and have like these little also like bat like hanging like just I don't even know what you call them. They just hang from the ceiling, these like tiny little black bats, and she's just been making hats for all of them. Because we've always wanted to decorate like that, and she's just like, you know what, this is the year. So she got construction paper, she started making it, so it's nice, it's very cool. And of course we're watching a bunch of Christmas movies. So
anything interesting? Any Christmas movie that's interesting?
Just watching the classics. We watched the first two Home Alones, White Christmas, the live action Grinch movie.
You're gonna go see Violent Night?
I want to see Violent Night. I don't know if I'll have time, but I'm hearing a lot of good stuff. Like, and even people who aren't like totally like down, they're still like, yeah, it's still a good time,
Yeah.
And that's always good to me. It's like nobody's really like bashing it or anything. Like the harshest critique I've ever been is like, yeah, it's just Santa Claus, but he's John Wick, and like that's fine. And I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Like,
I haven't heard anything bad about it. So
yeah,
cool. I saw A Christmas Story Christmas, which is like the official sequel to A Christmas Story, because they've done others, and apparently they were really bad. But it was a whole different cast and writers and everything.
Oh, really? They've done others?
Yeah. Starring Daniel Stern as the old man. I was like, no. So this one though, they got the original cast back, and the only ones not back were the dad, the old man, because he passed away, and the mom, because she's retired. So
okay.
Yeah, but other than that, like the cast is back, and they're all, I don't know how old these guys are, 40s, 50s. So I think in the story, Ralphie takes place in the 70s. First one we figured out was in the 40s.
Okay.
So 30s, maybe more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because how old was he in the first one? Like 10, a little older?
Yeah, something like that. I think.
Okay,
like
so
10.
yeah, so he's probably in his 40s in this movie. But yeah, man, it was good. Like I was very skeptical going into it. I wasn't even sure if I was going to watch it, but I was very surprised. It's one of those rare ones where you're like, hey, they went back to this movie decades later and it worked. I like the way they handled it.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
They don't copy and paste, from the first one. There's definitely a lot of crossover between the two. So if you haven't seen the first one in a while, go watch it first.
Okay.
Because like there's a lot. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because like we grew up watching that movie, and now to see Ralphie older as an adult, it almost feels like we grew up with him, even though he's older.
Yeah.
He's at least a decade older than us.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it kind of feels like we grew up with him. We're like, oh wow, we're seeing everyone where they're at in their lives, and yeah, I don't know. It was a good time, and it was all about reminiscing, because the first one had a lot of like flashbacks and childhood memories. The second one is kind of like revisiting all that stuff, but as an adult. you
Mm.
know? So it's like remembering your childhood memories decades later. You know, there's a lot of joy there. There's a lot of sadness, very melancholic. Melancholic, is that a word? It's a
Yeah.
melancholy kind of feel, you
Yeah.
know? And it was just really well done. It was a lot more emotional than I was expecting.
Mm.
And yeah, I highly suggest it. And I was even talking to parents, like, I think this is a good staple for the holidays. You know, we always have to watch A Christmas Story. I'm like, I think we should start watching A Christmas Story Christmas as well. So,
I like it.
yep, that's my endorsement. Other than that, oh, I guess we should plug, since we're talking Christmas, let's plug our Christmas special. I don't know what we're doing yet, but it's gonna be next week, guys. This
Mm-hmm.
is our last like official episode of the year. So next week is gonna be our third annual Lost Legacies Christmas special.
Wow.
Yeah.
The big O3.
Our first one was very Christmassy. That's all we
Mm-hmm.
talked. Second one wasn't really Christmas at all. We just kind of hung out and talked about the year. So
Uh-huh.
maybe the third one we'll kind of find a nice medium, right in between.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got like not like I like just a few talking points that I want to get to, you
Mm.
know. But yeah, regarding my favorite Christmas movie, which you'll have to find out what that is next week.
Ooh,
Yeah.
the suspense. It's killing me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Cool. But as of now, man, this is it. This is we're talking about it. Arcane season 1, episode 6. When these walls come tumbling down. Sounds like a Johnny Cash song.
Is that your Johnny Cash?
I I don't know. I came up with it on the spot, Sam.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Stubbed my toe
Oh my
today.
god. Come on, we got an episode to get through.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Um. Oh shoot! I didn't write my
What?
write up.
Why you didn't write a write up?
I well
You always write a write up.
well yeah. I write the little teaser. Well, 'cause since we're not
Since
getting to episode 7 until next year, I didn't write like the next time on, so I forgot to write this time. So let's just see what Netflix says. When these walls come
oh
tumbling
my
down,
god.
an eager protege undermines his mentor on the council as a magical tech rapidly evolves. With authorities in pursuit, Jinx must face her past. That was very exciting. Mine are
Uh
better.
yeah, listeners, if you like hearing my brother do voices like that, why don't, you can listen to more of that plus me doing voices if you go check out our other podcast show, The Adventures of Cinnamon and Oatmeal. It's great.
No! Don't use that as a plug. They're going to stay away from it now. They're going to run the opposite direction.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
That's true.
But our write-ups are
Um,
your write-ups are much cooler than that. That was lame.
yeah, yeah. So what are we thinking, man? Like, how'd you feel about this one?
Uh yeah, this one was good. This one was a lot, kind of similar to that last what episode 3, where there was like a cutting back and forth, between
Mm-hmm.
stories. Except this time there's a lot of other storylines, so we're cutting, between at least like 3, main stories, 4 if you count Marcus, and so it's like okay, like yeah, it's a lot to get through. And like not much happens this episode, but it is just like a lot of it's like a lot of moving parts, and we're getting everybody's perspective from or we get everything from everybody's perspective, so it was an interesting episode.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I really liked it.
It's they knew going into the show, like they had to have known that they were going to tell this in 3 episode chunks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
because it is clearly evident in that first in episode 3, because that straight up cliffhanger, there's like the time jump in between it and everything.
Yeah.
Now with episode 6, the end of like the second act, like you said, very similar to episode 3, but in the same way that like there's no more build up. You know, the past 2
Mm-hmm.
episodes were building, 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 and now something else happens. And kind of like before, the buildup hasn't paid off yet. You know,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like, oh, it's still coming. You know, it's building, 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 and then something totally different happens.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same way here, but I think it really worked. It probably wasn't as emotionally resonant as episode 3, but there was a lot of vibes, man, a lot of emotions in this between the characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to say, I know I mentioned that this show won like it's swept the Annie Awards, which is like
Mm-hmm.
the big prestige animation awards, and this episode won for like outstanding achievement. Is that what it was? I'm oh, right here. No, no, no. Best general audience animated television broadcast production. Basically, best episode. It was this
Huh.
one. This episode also won the Emmy for outstanding animated program.
Wow. This episode.
Yeah, which is really
Huh.
surprising, you know, because I kind of figured, oh, maybe it would have been episode 3 or something else, you know, like
Yeah.
it's interesting that this is the one that they pushed, they championed,
Mm-hmm.
be like, hey, you know, consider this uh for award season or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a great
Yeah.
episode, but I don't think it was the best we've seen so far.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder if it is because, it is sort of, having to do like the tightrope thing, balancing all the different stories that are coming
Mhm.
together. Store and other people's stories are coming together in kind of an interesting way. We're seeing some interesting intersections there. So like I wonder if that's the reason. Because I definitely would have given it to something like episode 4, maybe even 5, you know?
I think episode 5 is one of the best, if not the best episode, simply because of Vi and Caitlin. You know, we really take that journey with them, you know, especially for Vi coming back to the lanes for the first time and we don't know how long.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, even episode 4, that was just nonstop, you know? Like
Hmm.
almost it felt like a soft reboot, almost reintroducing everything to us.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Victor this episode.
We did. We did.
It was nice seeing him as a child.
Hmm.
Victor.
I do want to say, speaking of Victor, his first scene with Heimerdinger
Mm-hmm.
really stands out to me, but mostly because Heimerdinger is so bad at like consoling people.
Yeah, yeah,
Basically just like, I'm sorry you're dying. And Victor's like, everything I do, it's not even gonna matter. It's gonna pass by in a blink of an eye to you. And Heimerdinger's just like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And it's like, that sucks, man.
so if you want to get into like this the school of filmmaking here, Matt's film school. What do we call it? Matt's I don't know. I'm taking you to film school for a second.
Okay.
Entire movies and storylines are beginning, middle, end. What happens, or what's this the starting situation? What's the thing that changes things, and then what wraps it up? You know,
Hmm.
that's the most simplified, easy, broke down way of looking at it. Within those stories, every scene should be the same way. You know, the scene begins one way, something happens that changes things, and it ends in a different way or just somehow different than it begun.
Yeah.
That wasn't this scene.
Yeah.
Like it ended exactly the same way as it begun, maybe even a little worse. And it really caught me off guard. And I mean, I think that really was the point, especially considering Heimerdinger's storyline through this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, and like that's what led us to the opening credits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so bizarre, so weird, such an odd story beat that it, if you're not paying attention, it would feel like bad filmmaking, bad storytelling.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
throughout the whole episode, and when you finish the episode, you're like, oh, now that scene makes a lot more sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give credits to the writers on that one.
100%. Yeah.
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 But you just want to talk about Heimerdinger since we're on the topic?
Yeah. Yeah. I really love his character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I love that he is so like passionate,
Mm-hmm.
about things, and he cares about people genuinely.
Yeah.
Feels like feels like maybe aside from Jayce, the only person on the council who does can like think about the concerns of people,
Right.
other people. Um but I mean, yeah, he kind of walked into this one,
Mm-hmm.
uh there's just there's no other way to say it. Like he is stuck in the past, and that's not where Piltover
Yeah.
is rooted anymore. It is branching, spiraling out into the future, and Heimerdinger just got left behind.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, he has valid reason,
Oh, absolutely.
It's just that, yeah, man, he couldn't adapt. And kind of like equating it to our reality right now, we're seeing more and more of that, of like this being stuck in the past, being afraid of change, and then others just like zooming towards the future, like there has to be the balance between the two. So in
Yeah.
Heimerdinger's situation or scenario, he's just so afraid of magic being weaponized that it's limiting the world around him.
Yeah.
When in reality, he should be in the lab with Jayce and Victor. He should be working with them, progress, but knowing the past, knowing what happened, and trying to prevent that in the future.
Yeah.
If the three of them were working together, this would be a whole different storyline.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like it's a bummer because like his speech was a beautiful speech at the beginning of the council about
Mm-hmm.
how they used to be one tribe. This is the city of progress, the city of the future. And what does that mean? What does that stand for? Who are we? And now it's gone. We've lost our way. And this is 100% true. But then Jayce comes in and he's 100% true as well. He's like, Heimerdinger's not the one. Like, that vision that Heimerdinger has, I guess also maybe because I still don't know what like his species is, but he could live a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how Jayce calls him out on that. He's like, humans don't have centuries to wait. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
die. And it's like, yeah, all of this stuff, Jayce just went down the laundry list, man, bullet pointing everything that went wrong on Heimerdinger's watch.
Yeah.
And it's because, yeah, he's an idealist, visionary, and he doesn't see what's going on from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Jayce is the exact same way, except he does see it. He just doesn't understand what's going on from the bottom up,
Mm-hmm.
because now he's in charge of security and in charge of Marcus. And what's the first thing he does? He locks off the bridges from the
Mm-hmm.
people in the lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen yet what that's gonna bring about.
Oof. I can only imagine, just thinking about how this show started
Yeah.
with, Vander finding Vi and Powder on the bridges,
Uh-huh.
between the lanes and Piltover. It's like, yeah, I can only imagine this is going to come to some sort of very, very violent and very bloody conflict.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you put up barriers.
Yep.
So.
As the North Face says, walls are meant to be climbed. Guys, I don't know if y'all know this about me. I don't think we've ever talked about it, but I have a significant experience, not significant. I have plenty of experience rock climbing in my past, in my 20s,
Mm-hmm.
when my knees were still good. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, hey, man, walls were meant to be climbed, you know? I'm not saying that because I'm Mexican.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying that because I used to be a rock climber. I don't
You
want
know,
any assumptions or accusations being thrown around, okay?
I didn't even put I didn't even make that correlation until you said it, and then it's like, oh yeah, I guess that could be. It's like, oh, that's why you said it, right?
Just, you got to be on your toes, man. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah, yeah.
You never know
Cup.
when there's an unwanted debate on your hands.
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't we know
We
it?
work in retail. We know what that's like.
Ugh, yeah, yeah.
Uh, hey, so okay, let's talk about Vine Jinx for a second because there were some really cool Easter eggs in this episode, and a lot of it revolved around the sign that Caitlyn and Vi go to rest up,
Uh-huh.
and Caitlyn's looking around and she's seeing like all like the little hatch marks of like
Mm-hmm.
height between Violet and Powder.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we kind of assumed Vi's name was Violet, but okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then we're seeing like all the chalk drawings on the wall, which would eventually become like Jinx's crazy visions. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice? I didn't notice when I watched this first time. I noticed this last night when Vi wakes up for a split second. You see Powder looking over her and someone else.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that was their mom
I think so.
because when she wakes up, Caitlyn's looking over her. But in
Mm-hmm.
that split, like it was half a second shot, maybe a full second, you see a woman with purple hair hanging over her shoulders and little Powder looking over her shoulder.
Mm.
And then it cuts back to Vi being fed like the potion. And
Yeah.
then when she wakes up, it's Caitlyn. I was like, that's perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I never caught that because blue and pink combined makes purple.
Uh-huh.
So of course the girl's mother would have purple hair. And
Uh-huh.
of course Vi is going to be flirting it up with Caitlyn, who has this kind of I don't know what that is. Maybe she just sees her as a good person. Because she sees a little bit of her mom in her.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I just thought I was like, what the? I was freaking out when I saw that, man. Like,
I just
oh
I just saw a person. I didn't like it didn't register for me like any of the details. So
yeah.
I'll have to look for that when I go back.
First time watching, I probably just assumed it was Caitlyn. But then even when you do cut to her, I think she even she might have her hood up in that scene. Cause I was like, wait,
Yeah.
was that Caitlyn? I was like, no, it's total different look altogether. I was like, I
Mm.
can't believe I didn't catch that the first time. All right, writers, I see what you're doing. Good job, good job.
Well, okay. You know what? I guess we are seeing why this episode was given like the
Yeah, you
achievement,
got an Emmy for this.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. I see you. I'm not mad about it.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Well said.
uh, listeners, I don't know how well this transition is going to go over, but if you couldn't tell, everything you just listened to was recorded yesterday. And now we're recording the rest of the episode today because of technical
Whoa.
issues. So I have no idea what we sound like right now.
I hope it's great. Ooh, what if I sound like a robot?
Maybe, who knows?
I am Sam and I love Arcane.
Well, do you remember what we were talking about yesterday?
Uh, let's see.
I know we were talking about Vi and Jinx, and I mentioned their mom and the hair color and stuff.
I think that was the last bit that we had gotten to. Because you pointed out that that was in like the it was super
Yeah.
quick, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really don't know what else like there was to discuss about the plot because I think we talked about everything. We talked about Heimerdinger, Jayce, Victor, the girls. Um I did think it's interesting how Victor knows that mad scientist person.
Yeah, yeah. I really liked that as his intro and then like sort of like the through line for the rest of the episode. Cuz it kind of like it mirrors like Jace's story, you know, where Jace and his mom are saved by like this wizard, you know, just trekking through the snow. And here's Victor meeting this maybe wizard, maybe some kind of weird mad scientist dude. You know, it's like it mirrors each other, but it's also like opposite ends of the spectrum because I don't think this guy, we never find out his name, but he has this giant creature.
Mm-hmm.
It is very beautiful, but he keeps referring to the creature's mutation, saying the mutation has to survive. I don't think he's necessarily concerned with the creature beyond the mutation inside of
Right.
it.
It's really twisted, you know, the mutation has to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know. We haven't seen any magic from this guy, but he's all, everything we've seen from him has been science based. So, which
Yeah.
really makes it like the opposite of Jace's experience. I don't know. That opening scene where little Victor is like chasing his boat. You notice like the colors in the water. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
pretty because it's like pinks and reds, but I mean, it's also it looks like I don't know oil or something. You know, it just doesn't look clean.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's very much runoff
mhm.
from whatever, you know, whatever Piltover is, you know, trying to filter
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Um, yeah, because like you see like the kids, like the other kids, like playing in it and jumping in it, and yeah, it looks great. And then as the camera like moves further away, it's like, yeah, there's the runoff, there's all the crap, there's all the gunk, and there's
hmm.
Victor. You
That's what
know,
those kids are playing in. You
yeah,
know,
and yeah, an outcast amongst the
yeah.
outcasts.
Speaking of which,
So
we see more of the lanes and how bad things have got. You know, and everyone on like Shimmer and just like tweaking out down there.
yeah, yeah, that's crazy. So okay, the guy who helps Caitlin, is that the guy from the first
Yeah,
episode?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I kind of figured because like the first time I watched it, I was like, wait, who is this guy? And they really don't tell us anything about it. Like we don't even know that guy's
Mm-mm.
name to begin with, but it's the glasses and the fact that he's so like stringy and wiry and I'm like, oh yeah, so that was the guy from the first episode that Vander kind of helps out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to like settle a deal. Um yeah, and he's addicted to Shimmer now, which
Yeah, he
sucks,
betrays
man.
them.
Yeah.
Damn. Uh,
Such is life in the world of
yeah.
Arcane.
What a scene though, where they have the standoff between Vi and Silco, and then like the Shimmer guys, and I love how Caitlyn is like bumping into the pillar, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing's like rocking, and then Vi just goes over and punches it, and it falls. It's like
Yeah.
yes. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man.
So cool. Kind of a superhero moment, you
Right.
know? It's like yeah, it's like and it really shows like Vi's intellect, you know, because like we've always seen her as you know like this like cunning person, but she definitely like is also like a bruiser, you know. She throws down, she knows how to handle
Mm-hmm.
herself. That's kind of where she, I mean, that's what she does in the third episode, you know, while Milo and Clagger are trying to, you know, get Vander out. um
That's what
she
she's been
brawls,
doing
she
her
goes
whole
for it.
life. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, exactly. And it just goes to show that it's like, yeah, it's like she's very intelligent, she's very perceptive,
Mm-hmm.
and like she doesn't even need to be in the same room as Caitlyn. She knows what Caitlyn's trying to do, and then just distract Silco long enough, bring the whole structure down
Mm-hmm.
with one punch. Like, oh, ooh, man, so cool, so
Dude, and I
great.
love that whole montage where they're running and Silco's freaking out and telling them to go after them. He's kicking the crap out of that guy on the ground.
Uh
And
huh.
Jinx is up there on that tower, that platform, and she opens up the flare. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh
Mm-hmm. The flare that Vi gave her. Oh
yeah.
man.
Which is
Yeah.
interesting because now we can have this talk. She opens up the flare with the blue smoke, which
Mm-hmm.
looks an awfully lot like her tattoos,
Yeah.
which I think says something about Jinx, and her relationship with Vi. I also think it's interesting
Mm-hmm.
how Vi's the one with the gear tattoos all over her,
Mm-hmm.
when it was Powder who was like the gearhead of the two. I don't know, like I just think that correlation is pretty cool. Like whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of shows that like they haven't forgotten about each other.
Mm-hmm.
One, like, yeah, if Vi has the gears, like, as sort of like a representation of, Powder, that makes a lot of sense. But for Jinx, it is sort of like no matter how hard she tries, she can't let go. She
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
like, she can't move on,
And granted, she got
It's
those
pretty wild.
tattoos before, like before, like Silco like did the baptism, where he dunks her in the water, so she's
Yeah,
very much
exactly.
still torn between Powder and Jinx. But
Hmm.
one, that's saying something because like that's a tattoo, that's permanently on your body. But
Yeah.
two, she had the flare in a box away with the little bunny, but she did get the smoke tattooed on her arms. So it's
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
yeah, man, I don't know. It's maybe something like there's always that hope, in her, even though she knows it's unrealistic.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Talk about a reunion, man. I love that moment
Right.
between the two of them, and she
Hmm.
asks, "Are you real?" And
Yeah. Oh
yeah, oh,
man.
oh, and before that, dude, the shot where Jinx actually lights the flare and like the camera just pulls back and you see like all of the lanes and she's in the middle of it. And then there's like the
Hmm.
shot spinning around her with the ghosts of Milo and Clagger like leaning on her. I'm like, "Oh my
Uh-huh.
god, dude."
Uh-huh.
Oh, if you want to talk
The
about when we were
show.
talking about visual poetry last week and looking at a painting, look at that shot. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that it looked like a statue. The ghosts of those kids.
Hmm.
Oh man,
Okay, you know what? The more we've talked about it, the more I can see why this is the episode that was nominated for all the Emmys for the
yeah, me
awards.
too. Just in the span of the
Yeah.
50 minutes that we've been recording this, and not 2 days at all. In the span of this 50 minutes, yeah, like I've kind of not that I've warmed up to it. I like the episode, but like I kind of
Mhm.
understand. Like I see, like oh man, all the story beats are here. It's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah. Oh damn. Yeah, man. And
Yeah. This
but
show.
then Jinx loses it again. Like we get to see we
Uh
get
huh.
Powder for a second, and then she finally
Hmm.
hugs Vi back, and then Caitlyn walks in.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Jinx, she realizes that I keep forgetting her name. It's something with an S. Svetla or the henchwoman who kicked the crap out of Vi.
Oh, Savika.
Savika. That's when she realized, oh, Savika's telling the truth. Vi's
Hmm.
back and working with
Hmm.
enforcers. Oh no. And now
Yeah.
Caitlyn knows that Jinx, the one they're hunting, is Vi's sister. Oh no. Talk about like a climax, and then she pulls the Gatling gun and Vi is standing right in front of it. And she even has
Uh
like her
huh.
finger on the It's kind of the trigger, but it's like the I don't know the warm up trigger because the gun's spinning. It's ready to fire.
Yeah, yeah.
And then before anything can get resolved, the damn firelights show up and just cause
Uh-huh.
anarchy. And dude, those guys are badass on those boards
Those guys
they
are
got.
really
I'm like,
cool.
dude, this
Uh-huh.
is like this is what I imagine like the Lost Boys would be like if they actually grew up. You know, or with more time, because they have like that kind of scrounger vibe to it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey man.
Okay. The Peter Pan from the Lost Boys, not the Vampire Lost Boys.
Oh yes, correct. Nice, good call. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I was just trying to
And
figure out. I was
specifically
like,
the ones from
Kiefer
Hook, man,
Sutherland
because
on a
they had
hover
like
bike. Wow.
the ones from Hook built like a skate park. They're like living
Oh,
in a
yeah,
skate
yeah.
park, essentially.
Yeah.
Why?
A skate park that has a roller coaster in
Yeah.
it. Like, it's pretty rad. Yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
you're
yeah,
the coaster.
yeah. I definitely get that.
You're
What?
the
I'm
coaster that's rolling down the tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. And then the ending was
Yeah.
just so sudden. You know, Caitlyn gets taken out, Vi gets taken out, and Jinx is just left alone again.
Mhm.
And then we're stuck to wait like a month until we watch the next episode.
Damn it. I thought the whole point of why we started watching Arcane was so that this didn't happen.
I said we're gonna get through most of it, but then we'll have a few episodes left in the new year.
Man. I don't even want to do a Christmas episode now. I just want to talk about more Arcane.
Okay, so believe it or not, we are already almost an hour on this episode. So
whoa, okay.
let's wrap it up. What do you want to happen in the last 3 episodes of Arcane?
Well, oh jeez. I just want to know what happens to everyone. I need to know what happens to Victor. I want to know if he becomes a weird alchemist wizard person. I want to know what happens to Jayce. Like, yeah, I need to know. Like, is he gonna have a fall from grace or something? Like, because he's put it in some really kind of authoritarian, orders. Like, we're gonna have to inspect everybody who crosses the bridges, and like, oh, I don't think that's a good idea, man. And that's got to come to a head, and yeah, and then obviously I want to know what the Firelights deal is. I want to know what their deal is, and that this is heading towards Vi versus Jinx. You just know it, and I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously going to be a second season. Is it going to still be following these people? I don't know. I know nothing. So
I don't even know if they've announced what it's going to be, or like it could, especially with League of Legends. This could have been or could be like an anthology series where each season's different.
Yeah.
But dude, I think so much of the success of this show are the characters and it's Vi and Jinx. So I think it would be a big mistake if they don't bring them back.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So I guess I'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah. Well, less than a year probably for season 2. So, man,
good. It'll give me plenty of time to rewatch. We'll finish it and then rewatch.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of Lost Legacies. This is the last official one of the year, but fear not, we will be having a Christmas special coming out soon. I actually don't know what the schedule is like right now, so I don't know if it's going to be next week or like the week after. It's usually like the week of Christmas, so just keep an ear open for it. We'll be around. We're not going to leave you without a Christmas special. So yeah, But yeah, you can always find us still on Twitter. We're like the violinists on the Titanic. I'll stay. So will I.
If I had a quarter for every time somebody said that Twitter was like the violinists on the Titanic, I'd be rich enough to not care about Twitter anymore.
No, I thought it was wholly original and I just came up with it. Oh, but then like Hive is down apparently because like they're making it better. Apparently they had some security issues and they shut it down for like a week to like reinforce their security. Wow.
Well, I mean, there's only like 2 of them, maybe 3 now.
Yeah, so they didn't want Russians getting everyone's personal data. I mean, Facebook Meta has it anyway, so
yeah. Anybody who's using the AI art is going to have your data anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about. Moving on.
Yeah.
If you're not an AI bot, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe, leave us a rad review, or not rad if you're into that thing, weirdo. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Reel, that's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
Until next time, look out for yourself.
Look out for yourself.